Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on a secret psychological game. One that's being played all around you, every single day. It's this hidden game of influence and persuasion that's running just underneath the surface of almost all our conversations.
So, let me ask you this. Have you ever given someone perfectly good, logical, helpful advice, only to watch them do the exact opposite? You lay it all out for them, the facts, the benefits, everything, but they just don't listen. It's super frustrating, right? And you probably just think they're being stubborn. But what if there's something else going on entirely?
Well, it turns out this is almost never just about stubbornness. According to the ideas explored by Katherine Shepard, there's actually an invisible power game happening. See, when you give someone direct advice, you might be accidentally setting off their psychological alarms. In this game, giving a direct order almost always creates automatic resistance. So if you want to navigate this power game and maybe even come out on top, you have to know the hidden rules. Let's dig into the core strategy that can flip the whole board in your favor. And that strategy is called reverse psychology. But look, this isn't about magic or some kind of cheap trick. At its core, it's really just the art of presenting an idea in a way that makes the other person feel like they came up with it themselves. They don't feel pushed or controlled. They feel like it was their brilliant idea all along.
This quote from Shepard just nails it, doesn't it? True influence isn't about using brute force. It's about understanding what's going on inside someone's head. Their ego, their fears, their ambitions, and then using that knowledge to gently guide them. It's a really subtle shift, but wow, is it powerful.
So how do you actually flip that switch in someone's mind? Well, it all comes down to hitting a few key psychological triggers. These are the three main buttons that reverse psychology is designed to push. First up, the ego. Nobody likes being told what to do, right? A direct order feels like a threat to our freedom. Second, the challenge. If someone questions whether we can do something, our first instinct is to prove them wrong. And third, there's the big one, the fear of loss. We're just hardwired to want things more when we think we might not be able to have them. Okay, here's a perfect example that makes it all crystal clear. Imagine a father tells his son, "You must study harder." The son's ego immediately feels attacked, he gets defensive, and he resists. Now check out the reverse approach. The father says, maybe this subject is just too difficult for you. All of a sudden, it's not an order anymore. It's a challenge. Now the son's ego is engaged and wants to prove he can do it. See? Same goal, but a completely different and way more effective path to get there. And this idea applies pretty much everywhere. In a relationship, for example, demanding attention all the time can just push someone away. But creating a little healthy distance can suddenly make them realize what they might be losing. At work, telling an employee who's struggling, maybe this project is just too much for you, could be the exact spark they need to light a fire and prove you wrong. But, and this is a really important but, we have to be careful. There's a very fine line here, and this powerful tool has a dark side. It's that place where influence crosses over and becomes straight-up manipulation. And the most crucial skill is learning how to spot when it's being used against you. So these are the red flags to watch for. Guilt traps, which sound like, I was doing just fine until you came along. Or identity trapping, where someone tries to box you in by saying, "Oh, you're not ambitious enough for that." Then there's the freedom illusion, giving you a fake choice, like a boss saying, "You can either work late tonight or come in Saturday." And finally, emotional blackmail, which dresses up control as love. "If you really loved me, you would." This quote really drives home how high the stakes are. Think about it. Your mind, your thoughts, your decisions, your sense of who you are, that is the last truly free place you have. Recognizing these manipulative games is step one to making sure nobody sets up shop in there without your permission.
All right, so what do you do if you realize someone is playing these games with you? How do you fight back? Well, it's not about getting aggressive. It's about becoming aware. Let's walk through the strategy to reclaim your mental freedom.
Here it is, your 4-step defense system. It all starts with just observing the pattern. Is there someone who consistently makes you feel guilty or bad about yourself? Once you see it, the key is to stop reacting emotionally and start responding strategically. Ask clarifying questions. Then you set your boundaries. State your limits calmly and clearly. And maybe most importantly, practice self-validation. You have to remember that your worth is not up for their debate or approval.
And here's the ultimate test. It's a simple gut check question. Do the people and situations in your life make your world feel bigger, or do they make it feel smaller? Healthy connections, they help you grow. Manipulative ones, they make you feel trapped and they shrink your world. Okay, this brings us to our final, and honestly, our most important section. Because understanding all this stuff isn't just about playing defense. It's about taking full control of your own mind. It's about going from being a pawn in someone else's game to being the player in your own.
And this idea is just so liberating. We waste so much time and energy trying to win over people who've already made up their minds about us. Real power isn't about getting them to finally approve of you. Real power is when you stop needing them to. You take your focus back, and you put it on yourself.
So if there is just one thing you take away from all of this, let it be this. The moment you become aware of these psychological games, you have already started to break their power over you. Because once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. That awareness, that is your rebellion. That is your freedom.
So, I'm going to leave you with this question to think about. In the various games being played in your own life, are you the player, strategically moving the pieces? Are you the pawn, being moved around by others? Or have you realized that the greatest power of all is knowing that you can just stand up and walk away from the board entirely?